there's mystery on the mountain. Can the Super Bowl MVP climb with a bad ankle? Did Goff's 5-touchdown, 500-yard performance actually hurt him? What is up with the drones in New Jersey? No one knows. Join us on a search for these answers as we set off to ascend Mahomes Mountain. And I didn't do the green screen because I was a little bit behind on my prep. And Hubs already yelled at me. So I don't need you to yell at me too, even though I see you making faces. Mahomes Mountain.
Do you know why he was behind?
That was one of your best ones.
Thank you, bro.
It really was.
Do you know why, though, he was behind on his prep? When I got here today,
that
fresh
hot
off
take at the end of the show?
When I got here today, fresh off a day that started with a podcast, had Cowherd.
Oh,
show,
God
all
forbid.
this. You know what I hear Wildes yelling about in his office?
Schlereth asked me.
No, that was later. When I got here, Wildes is yelling about the Jumbotron take, and then 45 minutes before the show, I hear a loud two-person conversation where the star of the conversation is Mac Jones. It's Wildes and Stink talking Mac Jones. Speaking of horrific quarterbacking, guys off the mountain.
That's why I'm on.
And today's mountain has kind of a biting tone, I will admit, because I'm disappointed. It's the tail end of the year, and in a just world, in a better world, it's like, man, there's not enough spots on the mountain for all the quarterbacks. Instead, vacancies galore. Anthony Richardson played himself off. Kirk Cousins, even in a win, couldn't get back on. Obviously, McCorkle's off. Jameis off and benched. Levis off, maybe benched.
Yeah.
I don't even know. The Giants still starting Tim Boyle and his 1 touchdown, 13 interception college resume. The Raiders, who knows who's starting. Derek Carr hurt. 7th row. Man, this shows you what a crapshoot the draft is. Let me tell you. Brock has to drop. I know the game was Thursday, so we all forget about it. Brock has to drop. Tua, you know who all of a sudden voraciously sharing our Dolphins segment yesterday? Dolphins Twitter. They're turning on Tua. When you've lost Tuanon, you've lost the country, my friend. Caleb has to drop. Bo Nix, I'm telling you guys, go back and watch that Colts-Broncos game and see how desperately the Broncos tried to give it to the Colts before Jonathan Taylor and A.D. Mitchell and Shane Steichen were like, we don't want the playoffs. We don't even really get paid for those games. Cooper Rush gets to stay. Bryce sadly has to drop. He's on a little Bryce sugar rush, but at least he stays on the mountain. 6th row, Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
Highest he's been on the mountain in months, and he deserved it. Russ from... What was he, Wild?
He was in the mix.
I think it was in the conversation.
He's right in the verge.
He was in the conversation.
Oh, you could make a
the
case.
lowest one, but
whatever
that's the lowest one.
You know what it is? You guys are all wrong. What it was dumb. Russell Wilson MVP conversation, he drops. Kyler moves up a touch. Drake May, even in a loss where they were down 20-3, that you and Bill Simmons all week long were like, Drake May can win that game by himself.
Well.
Again, that's fine. He stays where he is, then there's some vacancies. 5th row. Jalen Hurts moves up. 90% because of his play, 10% because of that pendant. Oh, my goodness gracious.
Yeah, pretty.
That guaranteed,
that whole look.
That NFL quarterback guaranteed money jewelry, oh, my goodness. Sam Darnold.
He was sharp.
Not great this week. Had been playing really well, but I think when you see the guys ahead of him, you'll think it's fair. My guy, Gino. Rough week for him, and Brew is correct in that his numbers this year have not been spectacular.
Thank you.
He's making some high-level plays. The numbers aren't spectacular, and now they're no longer looking like a playoff team. I'm telling you right now, I wanted to move Justin Herbert down. He deserved to move down.
Yeah.
And it is throwing short of the sticks on 4th down. All this stuff is so maddening. CJ, they won. He had like 130 yards. He's not playing great. But again, there's too many vacancies. There's even a vacancy on the row above him. Show it to you. First, I have to move my guy Stafford down even in a win because I watched that game against Purdy. They won. He didn't play great, so I had to drop him.
One good throw.
That was very
big.
And Jordan Love, I wanted actually to move him up. There's not room on the rows above him. And Jaden did get to move up. He's had back-to-back really solid games and a vacancy on this row. 3rd row. Listen, Joe Burrow, I know they scored 37 points. He was furious. If he's furious, he's got, like, with how they played, how he played, the fun, like, he's got to drop a bit. Goff stays where he is. That almost feels unfair. He had 500 yards and 5 touchdowns, but there's no room above him. And Bake Show. I didn't realize this until I did the mountain today. Baker right now is 4th in yards, 3rd in touchdowns, 3rd in completion percentage, 6th in passer rating.
He's having a.
I mean, that's a guy who, if you want to say he should be in the conversation,
he's definitely in
for
the
a
mix.
ballot
in the conversation.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
All right, and now we're going to get to the second row. Josh stays where he is. Lamar moves up with a brilliant performance. So Lamar took Burrow's spot, and then Patrick's at the top. And now I need a moment because I tossed and turned last night in anger.
Oh.
Not just at our dear friend Greg Jennings, who'll be back tomorrow, but the entirety of sports media. Because I've never seen what is happening right now with the conversation surrounding Patrick Mahomes. People want to say other guys are having a better year. That is definitively true. But I've got to listen to Greenberg say Josh Allen's having the best year he's ever seen.
Yeah.
Patrick Mahomes has 3 seasons, 18, 20, and 22, in every metric better than Josh Allen this year. I have to listen to people, absolutely. I have to listen to people say we need a real debate about who the best quarterback is, and the people who are debating Joe Burrow, Josh Allen, and Lamar Jackson. You know how all 3 of them, their last playoff appearance ended with them being outplayed by Patrick Mahomes and their season ending. There is not a guy in that other triumvirate whose best season from stats and accomplishments and winning is as good as Mahomes' worst season. Patrick Mahomes' worst year is better than all those guys' best year. Find me the year and we can debate it, but it's not debatable. And now I have to listen about Josh Allen, who's, again, maybe the MVP this year. High watermark of his career is 1 AFC Championship game appearance where he got blown out by Patrick. And Mahomes is working on his 7th straight AFC Championship game. Everyone's lost their mind. And it's like, oh, well, the Chiefs aren't doing that. They have the best record in the league. There's Mahomes Mountain, bro.
I agree with a lot of what you said in your rants about Mahomes, but oh boy, you're not gonna like my correction.
No. No.
Patrick Mahomes is the best quarterback in the world. But, Nick, and I know it's supposed to be a rich tapestry. If this were quarterbacks you trust going into the playoffs, Mahomes should obviously be at the top. But if this season, this current regular season that we're in right now, we're in the regular season, has anything to do with the mountain, it's hard for me to say because I was the first to call him Jordan-esque. Mahomes must drop.
Oh, my God.
He has to. We are watching 2 guys, and I'm not even counting Joe Burrow, who's having a terrific year. We are watching 2 guys have historically great years. And you can say Josh's numbers aren't historically great, although some things, like the first player since Otto Graham in 1954 to have 6 touchdowns, 3 rush, 3 pass in a game. The first player ever, quarterback ever, to have a passing touchdown, rushing touchdown, and a receiving touchdown. And then, he's beat the Chiefs, which is huge. I mean, the only player to beat him in essentially the last full calendar year. And he's beat Detroit. And then he's a one-man show with the eye test, for sure. Lamar has won 2 MVPs and is having his best year ever. And I'll say this for you, Nick. Lamar's throwing the ball so well. There's no excuse for it in the playoffs. They might not win it, but he cannot have a bad passing game because he's passing it like crazy. And then even Joe Burrow. So I would put Allen at the top and then Lamar and maybe Mahomes, or even Lamar and Burrow second, and then move Mahomes. Show me the numbers again.
Below Burrow?
Show me the numbers again. Mahomes' numbers are getting smashed.
Yeah, they are.
By all of them.
They are.
This is the 2nd straight year.
So can I ask a question? Honest question.
Burrow thing was too far.
No. Then fine. Then Allen at the top and Lamar and Mahomes.
What's the Chiefs' record with Lamar?
So now it's just about QB wins.
I'm asking. My pause there was odd. Is there any quarterback in the league other than Patrick that you are confident this team is 13-1? I'm not. And do you think
you don't think Josh Allen, if you do the switcheroo, you put Josh Allen on the Chiefs?
No, I don't. You do?
I don't know why it would be so wild.
Let's ask it the other way.
I don't think a lot of those games, and again, Mahomes, I don't know that these games are that close.
Okay, but so here's the thing, and
because he's clutch, more clutch than anybody.
It's so frustrating. You're right, he is more clutch than anybody. He also doesn't have the floor these guys do. I'm listening to that Josh Allen is having the best year in NFL history, is running away with the MVP. Wildes told us last week he had this year the worst game in NFL history.
That's true. One of them.
9 for 30.
Is there any scenario where you can see Mahomes being blown out by 4 scores like Josh Allen was this year? Is there any scenario where you can see a Mahomes team losing 2 games to 2 of the teams fighting for the #1 pick? Like Lamar had.
Last year they lost several bad. How many games? They lost 6 games last year. They lost to Denver.
Yeah, Denver won 8 games. Denver was a divisional opponent that won half their game.
They were a team in flux. Russ was in, Russ was out.
Last year.
Is there any scenario,
losses.
Is there any scenario where you could see a healthy Patrick Mahomes team being in the position Joe Burrow's team is in? Like Lamar Jackson, twice prior to last year, did not participate in the playoffs. We can say he just got bad luck with injuries. Why just watch Patrick get hurt in the playoffs 2 years ago, not miss a game, maybe not miss this year? Joe Burrow's about to go 2 years in his prime, missing the playoffs.
That's what I've been saying.
Well, no, again,
that's fine. That's fine having him ahead of, because obviously Burrow doesn't have wins, but Derek, right now, again, we're not talking about who's like, I don't know what you do with the mountain, but I'm saying if the regular season has anything to do with it, Allen and Lamar are playing better than Mahomes right now, and so are several of these other guys.
So again, the Lamar part of it is tough for me.
He's not playing better than Patrick?
Listen, his best games have been way better than Patrick's best games. But they've lost 5 times, and his fingerprints are on the Chiefs' loss. His fingerprints are on the Raiders' loss.
Well, the Chiefs' loss, he did have, well over 300 yards in that game?
Yes, and he also missed the player in the end zone to tie the game and turned the ball over at the very beginning of the game. If we remember, you agreed with me that right before the likely throw, he missed Zay Flowers. I don't think people believe that Mahomes has this infinitely more talent than Lamar, yet one team's 13-1, one team's 9-5.
The defense is much better.
I agree with that. Josh is peak, but they have not lost all their games because they've been outscored.
But why do you think Mahomes, I mean, again, the only reason to have him on top other than just his history and he's the best player for this season is the wins.
It is.
That's it. It's QB wins. How many times has he been over 100 passer rating? I think 3 or 4.
I don't know off the top of my head. But if you're asking me, do I think that the player who we all agree is the best, who also has been the most clutch, who also the last time he played all of his competition in games that really mattered, they not only won, he thoroughly outplayed them. I don't know if we can throw that graphic up again, Hubs. Who also, his team has the best record, and one of the guys they beat head-to-head and he outplayed that game. The other one, they lost head-to-head and the other guy outplayed him. But that's like a triangle, because Lamar beat Josh beat Patrick beat Lamar. Yeah. So they all beat Burrow. So let's put him there. It's just lunacy.
He's like 20-something in passer rating. I'm just saying, I'm not trying to drop him to the bottom. I'm just saying Lamar and Lamar's got the 4th highest passer rating of all time.
Yeah.
I just think they're having historically great seasons, and Mahomes is having his worst season ever.
So I think
he should
agree he's having his worst season.
Well, statistically, it's definitely his worst season ever. Yeah, what was worse, last year?
I think last year by any metric.
So then it's just QB wins then. No, because last year his stats were better, but we didn't win as much.
We've seen the games, and we've seen that whenever he's needed to make a play, he's made it.
I think the argument is he needs to make plays in the 4th quarter all the time.
So what? He's not making them in the first 3 quarters.
Is this. Why is that actually matter?
Because he's not making them in the first 3 quarters.
Because you would say when Josh Allen has a 20-point lead, he doesn't get to make a play.
Right, but
everything is so close.
And when he needed to, he won it against
18.
Right, but the point that I'm making, then we can move on, and this is where the wins part of it, of course, matters. Yes, all the games are close, but he wins all of them.
Yeah, I agree.
And yes, Josh and Lamar, some of them are blowouts. But between the two of them, they have what? 9 losses on the year, so call it 4.5. Wait, no, Josh doesn't have. What's their record? Sorry, 11.
They're 11-3.
11-3. Sorry. So between the two of them, they have 8 losses on the year. So you're right. Their peaks have been higher this year, but they have also played very poorly in spots and cost their team a game. Patrick hasn't done that all season except for the one
He's played
time.
poorly in spots,
And
but
hasn't
not cost them because
right.
of that defense, though.
Well, no, the defense, by the way, has not been dominant like it was last year.
The last few weeks, but it's been dominant all year. And obviously, Baltimore's defense has been down.
What, Wildes?
You push back against it, but you're finally coming over.
No.
There's
you're a QB wins
intangibles,
guy.
and winning is a skill.
Yes, of course. Listen, I believe that the better players win and the worst players lose. What I don't believe is that I don't believe Jimmy Garoppolo's record proves he is one of the 20 best quarterbacks of the generation. I don't believe that. His record says he is. But I do believe that the best athletes ever have a way to win. Some guys are on great teams and they get credit for the wins because they're the quarterback for it, like Kirk Cousins for the Vikings a couple years ago, or Daniel Jones for the Giants a couple years ago. That wasn't a great team. But the best players, I think quarterback losses are way more informative than quarterback wins, but we can have that discussion another day as well. Go ahead.
I'm gaining support. Let's just say that. I'm gaining support.
Nick, it's all right to be a QB wins guy.
I know it doesn't go left to right, but if it did,
Is this going to be the 4th week you
Do
say
Kirk
a guy
Cousins?
needs to stay on the mountain?
no,
where
I
he
might
is?
move Bo Nix up. I'm going to move Bo Nix up
After 3 interceptions?
and 3 touchdowns. Caleb and Bo need to be can be on the same level.
Purdy and Tua.
That's
should
all.
be on
I
the
think
Caleb.
I think Jaden is up there. You got all the rookies up there. You got Jaden up there. He's playing the best. You got Drake May one level above. I think Caleb needs to be on his own level, and Bo one above him, and that would be my list of how guys are playing. So QB wins, which again I am an unabashed fan of. Last 8 games, Bo Nix is 6-2. Caleb is 0-8. He's lost so many games consecutively. He was asked about it, and he's like, what is it now? He's like, yeah, it's 8 games in a row. And Bo just has, I think he's got every one of these, Josh. Yeah, so he's got everything there. He's 6-2. Deep throws, which we thought Caleb was going to be good, and Bo maybe, okay. Nope, Bo is good here, and there's stats yesterday in the first half that the average depth of target for Caleb last night, 0.6, and there was another one. It's just
wasn't good.
No, it wasn't good. I was like shocked. I thought they were graphic errors. And then finally on the move where we thought this would be where Caleb would be really good, extending plays, making things happen, and this was not like a strength of Bo at Oregon. Turns out he's much better than on the run. Passer rating's better, more touchdowns, passing yards are more, and better completion percentage. So for those 3 reasons, QB wins, deeper throws, which I was going to give to Caleb, and sort of mobility throws I was going to give to Caleb. I'm going to move Bo.
So you think? So I guess
that's a good argument.
So I understand the Bo versus Caleb head-to-head thing, but that's not really how the mountain works. You think Bo's been as good this year as Drake May? I'm just asking.
I'm a Drake May guy.
So hold on, wait. Are you a QB wins guy?
Of course.
How's Drake? Then why should Drake May not be dropped?
God, it's not, look at.
I'm just
It's
curious.
not all inclusive all the time. There's nuance to it.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get more from the show and to check out clips from other shows on FS1.